Husband secretly cross-dressing. Today I found out my husband has been cross-dressing, wearing silicone boobs and lingerie, and taking pictures with sex toys to share online. We've been married for 9 years and together for 15. He says he's been doing this since before we met, and this is the first time he's ever talked to me about it. Many years ago I found a photo on his phone of his butt in black lingerie. When I confronted him about it, he laughed it off as a joke. Then several years later I found another photo as I was clearing his deleted photos folder, but it disappeared before I could get a close look. He said it was a screenshot from porn, and I don't really care if he looks at porn. Then I found a couple of wigs in our bedroom. He said he bought them for me to role play. I am not kink shaming, but it's not my thing. Today I found an email address on his phone that said, discreet woman's name, and was able to hack into it and follow some digital breadcrumbs. He had an account with a website that does live cams, but he was one of the performers. I put 2 and 2 together and confronted him. There's been a backpack in his car trunk that I noticed a long time ago, but he hides presents and surprises for me in his trunk, so I thought that's what it was. An Amazon account in his female-named email address showed that exact backpack. So I opened it up and found lingerie, women's clothing, silicone boobs, a dildo, and condoms. He told me he's been posing for photos on these websites, but that no one sees his face. He says he makes a couple $100 a month doing this, but here's the thing. He makes really good money, like almost $200,000 a year. So it's obviously not about the money, it's about gratification. And why would he need condoms for these photos or webcams? I feel like I am not getting the full story, especially because he's been keeping this from me for almost 15 years. He's a wonderful man, kind, caring, and an amazing father to our little kids. I can't just break up with him or divorce him. We have a family. Also, I am very open-minded and pro-LGBTQ+, and am not the kind of person who would be morally offended by a man cross-dressing. So why couldn't he be honest with me? How do you deal with it when you find out your partner has been keeping such a big secret for so long? What the hell do I do? Too long did not read. My husband and father of my kids has been cross-dressing and hiding it from me for 15 years, doesn't need the money from doing it online, and now I don't know what to do. There's nothing wrong with the things he's doing, but there's absolutely something wrong with hiding it from you. I've always been of the opinion that the definition of cheating is any promiscuous activity that one actively hides from their partner. The fact that he lied to you, hid it from you, and committed himself to you while doing these things is awful. It's great that you say that he's a wonderful man and a great father, and I'm sure he is, so I have one question. Does he seem legitimately guilty or remorseful at this obvious breach of your trust? Oh honey, I would say try couples counseling. Explain, with the help of a therapist, how you still love him but you are concerned and your trust is broken, and he needs to do XYZ in order to start rebuilding that trust? Unsure. But therapy would be a good place to start with an unbiased, third-party professional mediating and helping you along the way. Non-cheating explanation for hiding it is conditioning with the patriarchy and toxic masculinity might be making him feel like you would shun or shame him if you knew. Like even if he logically knows you wouldn't, it could still be making him panic about it. The condoms are pretty sketchy, but would make cleanup much easier, especially if he also uses the toys orally as well as anally. Condoms, dude, that's all you need to know. Leave him, he's cheating. Advice on here is quick to say, leave him, get a divorce. Society makes men feel like they must always be masculine and women must always look good, makeup. He could find this extremely embarrassing, at the same time exhilarating. I understand why you feel hurt and your trust in him is gone. However, before anything drastic, since money isn't an issue it sounds like, I would suggest couples therapy. He's pimping himself out. I'm probably going to get downvoted for this, but I suspect that this is something he knew you weren't into and that's why he decided not to share it. Possibly he worried that if he told you, you'd feel intimidated that he's kinkier than you or pressured to incorporate this into your sex life. What you need to do is sit down and talk to him. I disagree with anyone who compares this to cheating. I don't think he betrayed you at all, unless you consider the cam stuff cheating. You won't know for sure unless you sit down and tell him exactly what you've said on here. That you wish he'd trusted you enough to be honest and you want to know why he felt like he needed to hide this. Good luck. Is it the CD that bothers you or is it because it's something new that you weren't included in? If you are okay with it, look it up online. Try to understand before you really talk to him. Talk with a therapist and set boundaries for what's okay and what isn't. Because I would consider cams cheating if you are being sexual and talking to real people. If it's really just a kink, then it should be shared with you, his partner. Boyfriend did something similar behind my back that I found out about. Turns out he was also trying to solicit someone to trade nudes with and sext. If he's hiding this from you, what else could he be hiding? Without a doubt there's more that he's doing. He's been amazingly hiding this well. Who knows what else he gets up to when he's away from you. Can every fucker not go to the divorce button, please? Look, he more than likely loves doing his thing but knows that it's not normal, so he hid it from you because he loves you and wants you to stay, so why not just accept that it happened and move on? Just an FYI on condoms. Anal is a pain in the ass, even with toys. Condoms are a super easy form of lubrication, since a lot of toys have a very coarse exterior. Condoms don't necessarily mean he's having sex with other people. He's ashamed. You should do whatever you need to do, but please don't have the mindset that you have to stay with him just because you have kids. I have lived in a family like that when I was younger. The kids do notice and that might hurt your kids later on. PLs, take you and your kids into consideration before just saying we have kids. I got to work this out. It's a massive red flag. He was hiding that from you for so long and it wasn't even him coming clean as how you found out. It kind of pinged for me that you said you confronted him about finding the photo, since it doesn't seem like it's something to be confrontational about. Like you could have asked him sensitively about it. Are you sure he feels safe sharing whatever it is with you? He most likely hid it out of embarrassment. He never imagined how open-minded you were about the whole thing, and thought you would think less of him. I feel like you're not getting all the info. Keep asking questions, but be prepared to hear stuff you're not going to like. Being pro-LGBTQ and finding out your husband cross-dresses is two different things. He was most likely afraid you wouldn't accept him. Men have this stigma that they're supposed to be masculine all the time. If he had condoms, that's very suspicious. Are you sure he's not gay or bisexual and has been cheating? I'm mostly worried about the condoms. There are only two reasons he could have to have condoms. Either easy cleanup or he is gay. Either divorce him, cheat on him, or say goodbye to sex. His use of the word discreet in his email handle indicates to me that he is meeting up with people. Sex workers commonly use that term, as do people cheating on their spouses. I wish the Craigslist adult ads still existed so I could show you examples. Go on any sex work message board with ads right now. You will find many discreet ____________s. There's a good chance he meets up with people. You should get tested. He hid it because he was scared of your response. My husband had this in his first marriage. He dressed on occasions, and when his wife found out, she went absolutely mad, called him disgusting and unnatural, and booted him out. She tried to use it in the divorce against him and has completely alienated his only son from him, who is now a teenager, and sends him texts telling him he's a dirty trnny. My husband hasn't dressed for a couple of years. He is in what we call an out cycle. When we first met, he had to tell me as a FWB of his kept outing him to any woman he met. One dumped him over it. Anyway, long story short, I don't care, never have. It's a part of him. It sounds to me like your husband feared everything that happened to my husband at the end of his first marriage. I went through the exact same thing with my husband. In my case, I wasn't angry that he was doing it. I was angry that he lied to me. It took some time, but I eventually expected it, and once I did, our relationship became stronger than ever. Now it's just a normal thing for us. I even help him pick out cloths and stuff. It may take some time for you to accept, and maybe some marriage counseling too, but this doesn't have to be the end of your marriage. Probably living a double life outside your house. What if part of his kink was hiding it from you? He loved that double life feel? Marriage counseling. And just from what you've said, feels like he's still lying. I caught my boyfriend doing this. I told him I was perfectly fine with his cross-dressing. Next thing I knew, he had cheated on me 5 separate times with men. Your husband could really well be transgender or secretly gay. Since it's hidden since that many years, I suggest couple therapy ASAP or confronting him straight about what he did for 15 years. No, you can't trust him. That's too big of a lie. Likely outcome is that he cheated on you for all that time, and I won't get into details. Sorry, but it doesn't sound like good news, but you are not the first IRL to live that, unfortunately. It all needs a proper conversation, but the biggest line would be, why do you need the condoms? Performing on camera by yourself is one thing, but with someone else is another. It seems he's gone to extreme lengths to hide this all from you. He's lied to you multiple times. I understand if he feels embarrassed or perhaps that you may leave him because of his behavior, but if he truly felt that you wouldn't support him, then perhaps he should have left you instead of living in secrecy and lying to you over and over, even after you'd caught him out. If you are willing to work through it, then I'd suggest marriage counseling. However, you should get to the bottom of the condoms in the backpack before anything else. If it were me, I could forgive him trying to hide the cross-dressing, but not actively cheating. Some people in this thread are severely underestimating the internalized homophobia most men have. Not saying he is or isn't cheating, but come on. Someone not being open about cross-dressing to their long-term, vanilla heterosexual partner, and mother of their children, isn't exactly a shocker. He could be embarrassed or shy about it. Condoms are good even for solo-use toys too. For cleanup, sanitation, sake. I'd recommend therapy. Or counseling. Obviously there's something keeping him from being open, be it personal insecurities or whatever. Okay, why on earth are you hacking and following digital breadcrumbs, instead of talking to your partner? Not saying him keeping this hobby from you is okay, but seriously. People need to stop it with the phone snooping, lurky crap. Is this a deal breaker for you? I'd try counseling as a couple. I would also encourage you to be really open and accepting if you want to keep things in your relationship from crumbling. He likely didn't tell you, as society says this isn't an acceptable thing for him to do and attaches a lot of shame to it. He may well have feared he would lose you, his family, his friends. It sounds like y'all need to start having open, honest communication and maybe even look into seeking therapy. As a couple and independently with different providers. Also, it is generally safe practice to use condoms on anal sex toys. This helps limit infections and keeps things a lot cleaner. The condoms don't mean he's sleeping with other people and could have other explanations. This is one of the reasons I suggest looking into therapy. Nothing wrong with what he's doing, it's the lying to you. That's the problem. You need to have a serious conversation and maybe let him read these comments. He could be embarrassed to talk to you about this. Yes, you've been married for a long time, but it still could be very difficult for him to open up about it. Hopefully it's nothing worse. Like cheating, but talk to him. Tell him he needs to be honest about everything. My grandma is going through this. She doesn't know, but my wife and I do, because her husband tried to get an older cousin clothes and her husband told us about it. Should we tell or keep his secret? If we tell, how? Okay, so he seems like a great guy with a kink that he couldn't reveal to you. If you have any doubt about his reasoning, consider what has happened or is going to happen because you found out. Couples counseling. Smearing his name around the internet. We don't know him, but that's the fear, and he's made you upset. Imagine if you told the kids about his thing, or his family, work, etc. If that's not enough reason to hide it, I don't know what is. You seem very open-minded, so just consider this from his perspective. The guy has got to get his rocks off. As long as it's not hurting anyone and is done in the privacy of your own home, I don't see the problem. I think very few spouses could tell what their significant other masturbates to. I agree with another comment about counseling, but before that, see if you can find some time where you both can talk about what's been going on and everything that you found. Frame it in a way that you're not upset necessarily, but more that you're confused and feeling betrayed that he's kept this from you for so long. If y'all are married, then he's your life partner. Your best friend, yes? There shouldn't be anything either of you can't tell the other. Honesty, even if it may be uncomfortable. Good luck. Hopefully you can get some answers from him. Makes $200K a year? Holy hell. Couples counseling for sure. Some trust has been broken because this is something he should have told you before marriage. Also, my good friend runs a page on IG called The Crossdresser's Wife. She is all about helping people understand the cross-dressing lifestyle. Her and her husband are wonderful, empathetic people and have addressed this very issue. You can also DM her with any questions. Sending love to you both. Op. If you look up Mumsnet Women's Rights, they have ongoing Transwidows threads. I believe there's a standalone website too now. There you will find lots of women who have had the same or similar experiences and they will be able to offer you support and advice. I am placing myself in your shoes and the first thing that pops into my head is, I wouldn't feel like I would know NY husband at all if I found out he was hiding something so important for 15 years. I can feel your love for him after all the deceit and betrayal you have experienced. Start anew, reintroduce yourselves to each other, take it slow, make a pact for 100% honesty and transparency and accept help from a counselor. However, only do this if you feel deep in your heart you can trust him again, otherwise whatever you do going forward will be futile. Good luck. I don't find cross-dressing as concerning as him lying and hiding this from you. If he was scared and that's why he lied, then yeah, I get it. You guys should get into therapy for this seriously. But I would really like to know his intentions behind hiding it from you. Tell him to stop with the excuses and tell you the real deal because you at least deserve that much. My partner is bisexual. He didn't tell me at the beginning. He came out to an online friend of his. I felt so bad when he ended up confessing me everything. What idea of me did he have so he didn't trust me? Did he think so low of me to think I would take it badly? I'm really open-minded and for me it was a declaration of him seeing me as a bigoted person. But then I managed to get into terms with it. It was out of fear and sometimes fear is not logical. It was not about me. He might have been scared of your reaction and hide it. I would tell him what you are telling us. That you aren't so much bothered by what he does, but by his hiding it. You feel like he isn't being completely honest, which he must understand after all these years keeping this from you, and you want to know absolutely everything. That you think you can work through this together if you have no secrets and he tells you the truth, shows you the websites etc. so you know the extent of it, or you don't know if you can continue with this marriage as he's betrayed your trust for so long. I'm not suggesting that this is you trying to use this as blackmail, so if you wouldn't leave him even if he didn't tell you, then don't bother. But if it's the truth, then perhaps letting him know that may encourage him to open up. This is cheating. There's no question about it. If he's doing webcam shows, interacting with men, sending pics, etc., that is cheating. I highly doubt it has never crossed into in-person activities, but even if it didn't, it is still cheating. You say that you are willing to forgive and give it another chance, but are you okay with allowing him to continue these activities? More importantly, can you continue to be attracted to him and desire his as man when you know he wears wings and lingerie and emasculates himself for other men? Some women are okay with that and even find it kinky. Other women would never be able to see their man the same way ever again. You gotta be really sure you fully respect and understand his kinks and don't guilt or shame him for it if you decide to stay. Look into autogynephilia. Your husband has a fetish that he is going to continue to prioritize over you. You need to figure out how much you're willing to put up with. Why do you need condoms to take porn pics? Unless specifically commissioned for it. Has he been reporting this income? Where's that money going? Drugs, alcohol, gambling, secret kid, a mistress master s. Even if he was cross-dressing and taking pics for his own private viewing, this is a big thing to hide 15 plus years. I'm not sure if he's transgender, gay, bi or just very gender fluid and exploring that identity, or